Hi, it's Q&A Friday. I'm sorry I'm so late, guys. I'm in the co-working space. It's 10:30 p.m. instead of 8 p.m., but I'm here. I'm here, so come with your questions. I'm sorry that took so long. It's been a long day, working, writing my book, snowboarding, and strangely enough, I came to the co-working space and I've been editing the Digital Nomad Destinations Argentina video. So exciting. But that was interrupted by some technical difficulties here in the office, and then other coworkers came in and they needed help with stuff, and I helped them print and all this. Anyway, finally we're here. So yeah, let's go on Instagram. Let's do Instagram live while we're doing a YouTube live and invite more people to come, since we didn't have much advance notice for this one. Let's do, this is a double live. I haven't ever done this before. So let's go Instagram live. Yeah, I know how you do this. Yep. Live. Who's hanging out here? Oh yeah, I don't know why the chat disappears. Hi, Clayton. It's Traveling with Kristin. So the same as my channel. We'll do Instagram live. It's funny. I feel like, no. All right. Hi, Andrew. Yeah, come follow me. Thank you. Hey guys, it's a double live. It's an Instagram live and a YouTube live at the same time. So I just wanted to let you know that it's Friday. So it's Q&A Friday on my YouTube channel. So if you have questions about travel or being a digital nomad or anything like that, come over to Traveling with Kristin on YouTube. We're hanging out. Come over. That was fast. Okay, that's funny. Why not? Hey, I'm good, Andrew. How are you doing? It's been a long day. I woke up at like 6 a.m., wrote a chapter of my book on becoming a digital nomad, Digital Nomad 101, went snowboarding, came back, had lunch, went to work, had dinner, went back to work. And now I'm live. I'm actually going to live stream from the co-working Bansko dinner. So we had like a group dinner tonight, but it was snowing and I really wanted to work on my Buenos Aires video so that it finally gets edited and I can share it with you guys. And so I decided to come into the office instead of going to eat steak and drink wine. Clayton's moving to Portugal in August. The visa process has been a super pain. Oh, and Bulgaria. Which country are you from, Clayton? And why do you need a visa to go to Portugal? Oh, Andrew's going to Bulgaria soon. Oh, cool. That's awesome. When are you coming? Just to visit or to work online or what? What's your plan? This weekend is I think it's school holidays. So it's like college, maybe spring break of some kind. Is it spring yet? No. So it's like a school holidays for kids and college students in England. I think in the UK, they have a different school system compared to the US. And so everybody is on holiday this weekend and everyone's coming to Bulgaria. So it's all sorts of clubs and parties and raves, and there's a professional like world ski championship happening next week. and it's spring break and school holidays, so everyone's coming to Bulgaria. Apparently, this is like where it's at this week. Okay, Clayton's going to the US. So Clayton, why did you need to apply for a visa? You shouldn't need a visa to go to Portugal. You should just need a passport if you have a US passport. Oh, you're living in Portugal. Okay. Yes, you will need a visa for that. Okay, so actually I understood that wrong because I read Andrew's message right after, and his talked about coming to Bulgaria. So I was like, well, if you go to Portugal and then here, but that was a different person. Okay, yeah, to live there full time. Okay, which yeah, it is a pain in that case. What are you qualifying under? Or which category are you doing? It's expensive also to purchase citizenship there. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I understood that you were just going to visit. Yeah. Sintra is really nice. So you're going to be living in Sintra? Interesting. That's cool. It'll be like a fairy tale for the kids. Have you been to Portugal before? And Andrew, which month are you coming to Bulgaria? I talked to some other digital nomads who usually live in Bulgaria, but they're gone for some trips right now. And they were telling me how much they miss it. We were talking about how it's just, we love our Bulgaria routine. And one of my friends tonight said that he feels his best when he's in Bulgaria. And we were talking about how travel can wear you down. Clayton. Clayton works from home and runs his company online, so he's not sure his wife's in charge of the paperwork. Nice. So it's a team effort. That's good. Maybe she did it on opening a business there. Yeah, it is a lot of paperwork. But yeah, if you have kids, then you can't move around. Well, you can, but it's just more work to move around. So I think it's good for kids to be able to travel, of course, but also just living in another country is definitely good enough. That is an amazing experience for kids. And just to be able to have that exposure to different cultures. So I know that there are digital nomad families that are on the road a lot, but it can get tiring, especially if you're homeschooling or something. So you can have a normal rhythm of life when you're an expat living in one place and have the kids enrolled in a school and everything. Okay, yeah, Qashqai is really nice. I think I would live there too. I haven't been very far outside of just Lisbon and the beaches and Sintra, but if I were to live there, I would live at the beach, I think. Nice. Did you guys see, Clayton, did you see the Lisbon video? Is that how you found me? Andrew said he loves to travel, maybe in April. Hi, Michael. A lift ticket. So in Bansko for the whole ski season, which starts on July 1st, I'm not sure which date ends. It might end April 1st, actually. I think that's when the snow is melting, but usually February and March are still good. But for the full ski season pass, it's 750 euro. And I bought 20 lift tickets for 500 euro. And then I think a day pass is around, I don't know, I think it's 30, 40 euro. Can't be more than 50 euro. I'm not sure what the day pass is. It's less than 50 euro. It might be like 30 or 40 euro a day. If you do the season pass though, you can get in the VIP line at the gondola, which is nice because that line can get pretty long in the morning. I think I'll do at least one video about the ski season here. And I'm going to put some tips on how to get up the mountain early because if you mistime it by like 5 or 10 minutes, it can be a difference in waiting like an extra hour or not, because it's kind of a bottleneck. There's only one gondola that goes up to the lifts. And it's an interesting mountain because there's no hotels or resorts on the mountain itself. So you can't, well, there's a few places you can like ski down to at the base of the mountain, but everything's kind of in the village, and then you go up to the lifts. So it's a bit of a different structure. Andrew's thinking of starting. Okay, it's getting a little late. I'm getting burnt out today. Thinking of starting a YouTube channel. What type of channel? Clayton has 3 kids that are 2, 6, and 8, and wants them in school. So you can drink wine by the beach. Oh, cool. You found me through the Lisbon video. The Lisboa video. That was a tough video to film because I filmed myself. I wrote it, filmed it, directed it, and was in it. So I don't recommend that. I recommend having a videographer. So when I was in Buenos Aires in December, I hired a local video guy to come around and shoot me, so I didn't have to do everything, because I noticed in that Lisbon video, it wasn't technically perfect, but hopefully I got some good info in there. I'm thinking of going back to Portugal probably for Web Summit. What type of company do you run, Clayton? I used to work with expats and multinational employees and executives when I lived in Costa Rica. So I worked in real estate there, and I worked in relocation there, and I helped families and couples and people from all over the world to relocate long-term to Costa Rica. So usually for a few years, but some of my clients ended up staying and getting residency or even citizenship. So you never know what's going to happen with after living abroad. It just really opens up the door to a lot of different opportunities, and you just meet so many different people. But I was reading, I'm reading this book about how insights are formed. So how we come up with ideas, and how some people have insights and some people don't. And it was talking about how organizations, like companies, are actually structured in a way that they block insights from happening, because organizations just are inherently very structured, micromanaging and focusing on reducing employee errors rather than opening up for innovation and insights. And one of the things that they were talking about is how much busy work there is in the US that goes into like reducing liabilities and reducing errors and employee mistakes. And I was reading it at dinner right after talking to my friend about how he was tired of traveling and wanted to come back to Bansko. And it's all coming together with some of the research that I've been doing for my book. And basically, I think the traveling thing for digital nomads, for people who take it too far, becomes like a way of almost, it's like a catch-22, because when you travel, you get so much inspiration, but at the same time, if you travel too fast, it can just take away so much of your time that can be used for developing your business, or for coming up with ideas, or for creating things. So it's almost like an excess of travel. Like you can have too much of a good thing. So too much travel for digital nomads can be like micromanaging in a big organization. It can just be an administrative nightmare of like planning so much stuff and going from point A to point B so quickly. And so, yeah, I definitely encourage people who are watching this channel, and I say the same thing to my clients, And I do talk about it in my articles as well, how each person has to find their balance of travel to work. It's like a work-life travel balance ratio versus just a work-life balance ratio. And one of the amazing things about becoming a digital nomad is that you get to decide what that is. You get to decide what you work in, which industry, what type of work, whether you're self-employed or a remote employee, or what it is, where you live, and where you travel or how much you travel. But you can really use travel to your advantage, not just to see the world and have fun, but to place yourself in the right spot to be around people that you want to meet, to be around different conferences and events, to live at a cool co-living space, to get inspiration. Like, let's say you're an artist, you want to go plant yourself in a vineyard in France or in Italy in Florence or something, and just be surrounded by art. So there's so many ways that you can use travel to your advantage, and becoming an expat somewhere and staying there long term is just as beneficial than if you're just moving around. So it just really depends on what you're doing. And I really commend you, Clayton. And I think that everybody should really take a look at what they want and what they see themselves doing, and not think that they have to go to Chiang Mai or they have to go to Bali or some other digital nomad hotspot, even though Lisbon is a hotspot. But they can go to a place with intention that is the best thing for them, and not necessarily the best thing on paper or the best, coolest, hippest spot at the moment. What do you guys think about that? Oh, Clayton, you have a YouTube channel as well? Oh, that's cool. 100,000 subs. Congrats. Amazing. So you're behind the camera now. That's awesome. So you help people monetize through real estate. Okay, so you have very interesting. I was telling one of my friends owns a company called Maverick Investment Group. I don't know if you've heard of it. And I was telling him to start a YouTube channel about that because they have a passive income real estate thing. I'll have to check yours out. Maybe you guys can work together or something. That's the other cool thing about the digital nomad scene, is that there's so many ways to collaborate with other people if you want to. Do you have people that are they buying and selling properties, or are they what type of passive income? Are they renting properties out? Oh my God, it's so windy outside. I can hear the wind. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Yeah, I used to work in real estate, but unfortunately, when I started, there was still definitely passive income in real estate investing. There just weren't all of these buzzwords and keywords around it. But I do own some property in Nicaragua and Florida. I wish I owned way more. I think I have made a bit of a trade-off between investing and traveling, but I wish I owned more properties. I think that is such a great way to achieve financial independence, is with real estate, with all different forms of it. I met a digital nomad on Nomad Cruise who I think he used to have a drop shipping business and he sold that. And now he is basically does Airbnb arbitrage. So he rents out long-term leases at Airbnbs in the places that he wants to live around the world. And he gets approval from the owner to sublet those properties on Airbnb. So he basically makes the spread in between the short-term premium rate that he's charging to people and the long-term rate that he's paying to the owner. And the owner gets the benefit of having a tenant on a long-term basis without having the cost of trying to find a renter every so often or managing the property on their own. And then he also has the benefit of being able to stay in these Airbnbs for free. Well, not for free. He's paying rent, obviously, but his rent is, the income from his subletting is covering his own rent. So he has like 3 or 4 properties around the world that he's either staying in or renting out on Airbnb. And he has them like completely outfitted to be like a home away from home. And I think that's such a good idea if anyone's interested in that. Clayton buys affordable homes and fixes them up and puts tenants in them. Okay, so similar, but instead of renting, you're buying them, and you teach people how to do that. That's also a very solid business model. Ahmed says, hey Ahmed, how's it going? If there is somebody 6-figure wealthy, is it possible? Oh, sorry, I think there's a typo. Is it possible to think about being a digital nomad or a normal business startup? So there's no specific startup cost to becoming a digital nomad. Your startup cost could be 0 in money. It could be just time. The chapter that has taken me the longest to write in my book so far is about jobs, because there are so many different categories of jobs that you can have or ways that you can make money as a digital nomad. And it's just about breaking them down into categories. So a lot of people have the conception that they have to start their own business to be a digital nomad, but that's not necessarily the case. From the people who I've polled in my Facebook group and online and friends, the majority of people are freelancing or offering their own services on a contract basis, like independent contractors. And that is also consistent with statistics that we see from different governmental agencies, especially in the US. They're really talking about freelancers a lot when they refer to remote workers and people working in the gig economy. So your startup cost, Ahmed, for something like that is really just the time that it takes to figure out which skills you want to leverage to make money, and then how you're going to get clients or get paid for your skills. So that can be offering them to your network. That could be setting up a profile on a freelancing site. That could be applying for a remote position that is a good fit with your skills. But then there's also another big group of digital nomads, almost as big as freelancers, that are people who started their own online businesses. So I don't think everyone's necessarily cut out for online business, or maybe not everybody, but just depending on what that business is, there are definitely online business models that you can set up to start generating revenue like within a month or within 3 months. It just really depends on what it is. And the investment costs might not be that high. Like when I started my company, my relocation company, I really only had the costs of like incorporating, I think my startup costs were like less than $5,000 or something like that. My website, things like that. And I found some partners and people to collaborate with to help reduce those startup costs. So Clayton says the smallest part of his sales funnel is that someone buys a house through us, but the brightest part of our funnel is our YouTube channel and our podcast. Oh, amazing. Yeah, definitely look up the Maverick Show with Matt Bowles, because he has a real estate podcast and like a real estate investing digital nomad passive income thing going on, where I think they are identifying properties in the US market that are good opportunities. And then I think they're usually like under 100K each. And they're basically sourcing turnkey rental properties for investors. So it sounds similar to what you guys are doing. Maybe you can interview each other on each other's podcasts. Grow both your audiences. Oh, Ahmed's asking if a digital nomad can reach 6 or 7 figure wealthy. For sure. Do you think he's going to keep being a digital nomad or come back to normal life? No, I think once you become a digital nomad, there's no going back to the way it was. You don't go back to the like traditional lifestyle. And the science backs this up. There's a lot of studies coming out with like 80-90% of people saying that they'll never go back to their old way of living. And not everyone necessarily wants to travel all the time, but once people experience this type of freedom, they don't want to go back to a 9-to-5 cubicle. So I think it's going to have a really big impact, because once everybody transitions, or once a large percent of the global population transitions, they're never going back. They might transition again to another hybrid style of living, but I can't see anyone, very few people, like less than 5 or 10% are going to go back to the office. And yeah, because so many digital nomads right now are freelancers, I think the majority of the ones that have been surveyed are making less than $50,000 a year. And I think it's only 3% that are making over 100K or 150K a year. But it's totally possible. It just depends on the business model and like the business cycle, like how the maturity of the business and what your revenue streams are. And the cool thing about becoming a digital nomad is that you don't have to pick just one thing. I mean, you could pick one thing at a time, master it, build it, implement it, make sure it's functional, and then you can add other revenue streams. So you don't have to just do one thing. Hi, Kata. Which countries have I visited? I have been to 60 different countries, and the only place I have them logged is on my TripAdvisor profile. So I've pretty much been to most countries in North America, Central America, and South America. I'm missing a few in there. Like I haven't been to Belize. I haven't been to Guatemala. I haven't been to Chile and a few other countries in South America. But most of the countries in Central America, quite a few in South America, almost every country in Europe, Southeast Asia, and Australia. I used to live in Australia. Ahmed says, I'm just thinking maybe when I reach this level of 6 figures, I will turn of a digital nomad and think forward for building family, just sharing my thoughts. So do you mean when you reach that level in your current job? Because I don't think that you need to have a 6-figure income in order to become a digital nomad, or like you can make less money almost than you do in, well, it just depends on the situation, like in which country and in which industry you're in, but you can live as if you had 6 figures without having 6 figures. So for example, 6 figures in San Francisco or New York is like poor, but having 6 figures in Mexico is very well off. And having 6 figures in Southeast Asia is like rich, basically. Yeah, Clayton, that sounds good. Yeah, send me a DM. I worked in real estate for 7 years. So I like talking about that. I mean, I still work in the rental industry because I do property searches on a weekly basis for my clients. So maybe there's some crossover there. I'm also, you can come on my show too. I have my show Badass Digital Nomads, where I interview people on how they became digital nomads and about their business models. But I'm not doing any interviews for the next month while I'm live streaming every day and writing my book and publishing videos and running my business. But I think I'm going to pick them back up in April. So we'll talk about that too. Kata says, which country has girls that look like me? Well, it's a funny thing. Oh, thanks, Razor. You pretty. Thank you. It's funny because I got that DNA test done, the Ancestry DNA test. And because I was curious, because everywhere I go, especially in Europe, people think that I live in that country. It's like, I don't know. If I go to England, they think I'm from England. If I go to the Netherlands, they think I'm from there. If I go to Sweden, they think I'm from there. If I go to Germany, they think I'm from there. It's like everyone always thinks that I'm, until I talk and I only speak English and Spanish. So I got that ancestry test done, but I'm mostly Greek, Italian, Hungarian, Romanian, Scottish, and Irish. But I mean, I think there's blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls in a lot of countries, from Argentina to Canada to Europe. Andrew got a new passport. Congratulations. Ahmed said, April, no, please. Wait, I'll wait in March. Keep working and good luck, Kristin. I'll still be publishing videos. I still have a lot that are being edited now, and that I'll be publishing every week. Don't you worry. I won't miss a week. But I like to batch the content. So if I'm doing interviews, podcasts, things like that, it does take, especially when I'm hosting them, it takes quite a bit of preparation work, coordination, filming, and then editing. So I like to do a few of them in one day. But right now I have a one-track mind, and that's my videos and the book and my company. So I have next week, an episode of Badass Digital Nomads is coming out with a guy from Russia. And we're talking about some interesting things. And then also the next one after that is an interview with a girl named Grace Taylor, who is an IRS enrolled agent. And we're going to talk about digital nomad taxes. So those have already been edited and filmed and everything. So those will be coming out in the next couple weeks. And then I'll film more. So don't worry. Kata asks if I have a boyfriend. No. Kata, check out the live stream from yesterday where I was discussing dating as a digital nomad. And I think I talked for about 45 minutes or an hour about that. Clayton is launching a new show around entrepreneurship and passive income that has nothing to do with real estate, and would love to have me as a guest on there, or just talk about as well. With I'm an affiliate for some gambling companies, and yeah, I mean, who doesn't love passive income? It's great. I think I like what you're doing because you have passive income, but you're also creating value in the world. And that's what's really important. The people who I've met who just have passive income that they're completely removed from, and they just have money coming in on autopilot, they feel like they're lacking purpose. So I like that you've combined passive income with like creating a lot of value for people. Ahmed, yes, taxes, the most important topic. It is. Yeah, that one. Actually, that was a funny interview because I forgot to press record. I thought that I was on a Zoom interview and I thought that I had the settings set to automatically record. And for some reason, it didn't record. So we did like an 1.5 hour long interview, and then we had to do another one, another hour right after, because I didn't record it. I only had like a screencast and not the, anyway, shit happens, guys. Okay, your name is Hugh Rassi? Razor Rassi Hugh Jass? Okay. Is that right? Did I get it right? Where is everyone watching from? Clayton's in the US right now. Andrew's in the US. Ahmed. I forgot where you were. Were you in Egypt? Who's in Egypt? One of the regs is from Egypt. I can't remember. Yes, I was right. Cairo, Egypt. That's what I thought. Does anyone have any other questions for Q&A Friday? I'm going to go to bed. It's past my bedtime. Hey, Darren. Dropping in for a quick hello. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming by. Q&A Friday, late. I'm trying to get on the schedule. We'll get there. By the time I get on the schedule, I'll be in another country and we'll have to change the time again for the live stream. But we'll make it work. Does anyone have any requests for tomorrow? Tomorrow is Saturday. There could be a lot of stuff going on in town, so maybe we can do a spontaneous travel live stream, checking out the scene and all of the craziness here. Kay wants me to pronounce Wrocław. Is that good? Let's drink wine. Man, I missed the wine. I was supposed to drink wine tonight. I was supposed to go to steak and wine night with the co-working space, but I didn't. I'm here instead. Okay, what's going on? So if you guys haven't seen my Poland videos or vlogs, I have one on a town called Wrocław, and it took me like a couple days to learn how to pronounce it correctly. But in English, it looks like it's called Wrocław, phonetically speaking, but it's not. Love Poland. Darren, approached work about traveling. Just need to get on board. Boss is cool with it. Good. Okay, so whenever you guys are approaching your superiors about remote work, make sure it's about them. Make sure it's about the company and what's benefiting the company, not just about you being able to travel. I don't know if I linked to I have a whole article with instructions on this. How to convince your boss to let you work remotely. Very detailed, just follow the steps and you should be good. I don't know if I've sent this before, but there it is. So yeah, pitching your boss on remote work, you just want to think about what's in it for them. Why should they say yes to you to work remotely? So you should think about how you can do your job even better in a remote capacity, how the company can save money, and how it will open you up to new experiences, maybe conferences and events, things like that. Clayton says, thanks for your great content. Thank you, Clayton. I appreciate that. Ahmed says, every time I ask you to finish your Patreon account. Oh man, I know. Let me see if I have a Patreon account. I just don't know if it's active. I'm opening it in another window. I told you I would do that this weekend, so I will do that this weekend. Bank account and online banking for digital nomads. So it's the easiest and safest country for opening a bank account with IBAN. Right now, there's quite a few quite a few banks online banks that are only opening in the EEA, the European Economic Area. So these include like N26 and Revolut. TransferWise is a good one that everyone should have that operates in most countries. They also have a debit card. What is the other ones that I have? Like, I have a blog that's halfway drafted on this. Actually, maybe 75% drafted. Let's see. Those are the big ones. Revolut, N26, TransferWise, Denizen Financial is one, but TransferWise is the one that works in the most countries, and it's not really a bank account. I mean, it is a bank account, but I like having a combination of those online accounts. There's also other like money transfer systems. Skrill and NetTeller work in any country. You just need a bank account to be able to get the money on there. So those are good for traveling though, because you can deposit pretty much unlimited funds and you get a debit card and you can use them anywhere in the world. But TransferWise is the best for, like, I use that instead of my banks in the US, for example, for ATMs. We need to do quite a few topics on the financials because there's so many different parts. You've got credit cards, banks, online banks, debit cards. But with TransferWise, I think you do get an e-bond. Hey, Tech Lords. Yeah, I agree, Ahmed. I like Patreon more than like monetizing the YouTube channel with ads. Because what if I'm doing a live stream and then an ad comes on? That sucks. But I guess that's what happens. Like, I think people do that, but I don't know. I'm going to try to stay away from that as long as possible. Oh, IT is concerned with latency and connection, but you sent them a ton of tests, Darren. Yeah, Darren, okay, guys, it's really important if you're working abroad to have a VPN, also to be able to protect your data, protect your company's networks. So this is all going to be in my book. I have a whole chapter on this. Tech Lords waiting for Revolut to be available in Canada. I know, I hear you. It's not available in the US either, at least last time I checked. Yeah, Skrill is working in Egypt, I believe. Andrew has USAA Bank. In the US, there's a lot of online banks now too. Capital One, there's a lot. But also, I've contacted like American Express and Visa and US credit card companies, and they've said that foreigners can open cards there. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm going to look into it more because that would be a big plus if you're from a different country, but you can get kind of like the credit card bonuses that US citizens get. We'll have to think about that. The good thing about Revolut is that you can use crypto to load it. What are the fees with that for crypto? Because I think Skrill and NetTeller charge like 3%, no, 1.5%. Another good one is EcoPays. They have free deposits, free Bitcoin deposits. So that's really cool. Yeah, I think crypto's going to come back around. It's been out of the news lately, but I think the whole, like everything blockchain and all different, the concept of cryptocurrency, I think is in it for the long haul. I don't see that going away anytime soon. And digital nomads are more likely to use crypto as well. I have another article drafted about that. Let me find it. So, oh yeah, I have one that's like the best places for crypto nomads to live. And I talk about like the relationship between the evolution of crypto and the evolution of the digital nomad. And I have some cool quotes too. Someone from CoinGeek said, cryptocurrency is needed as a solution because there will be no other way to sensibly pay this new workforce. I mean, I disagree. I think there are other ways to pay people, especially with online banks now. But it's too bad that so many of the online banks are restricted to Europe. That's because Europe, and they're on top of it when it comes to regulating these sorts of things. I read another article recently that was talking about the mass adoption of crypto being inevitable. There's still 2 billion unbanked people in the world who will be able to accept cryptocurrency as a means of payment. And before, they wouldn't be able to get a bank account. So, borderless, guys. Like I said yesterday in my dating live stream, we're creating a cloud country. And it's everywhere. And it involves everybody. Everyone's allowed in. You don't need a passport. Although we should maybe have one, but it should work everywhere. Alex, hey, any plans to visit Plovdiv, the European capital of culture, for 2019? I went to Plovdiv last summer, and I don't think that I'm going to go during the winter because a lot of people from Plovdiv are coming to Bansko to go skiing. So apparently it's warmer there in the winter though, but I think I'm going to just wait. Although it does get really hot in the summer. I might put Plovdiv in one of my vlogs. I put it in the Digital Nomad Destinations video, I think, a couple clips. But yeah, it's such a cool place, so underrated. I went to the amphitheater there, and I put on Instagram to see if people could guess what it was, and everyone was guessing in Greece, Italy, Croatia, everywhere except Bulgaria. And it's very cool because I've been to Athens and the lines are so long, and then you go to Plovdiv and you see ruins and like what looks to be like a Greek amphitheater, and there's no tourists or they're very few. So there's no lines and things like there are in Athens. I mean, Athens is amazing as well, but it's just good to know that there's other places that have even older history that don't have as much of the hype. But yeah, when I lived in Malta, it was the European capital of culture that year or the next year, and they were preparing for it. So I think they are highlighting some pretty cool places and drawing attention to them. So that's good because they deserve it. They deserve the exposure. Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to go to bed because it's almost midnight. But thanks for tuning in to Q&A Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow for a surprise stream, a Saturday surprise stream. Maybe we should make that a theme. Where will I be in September? I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't planned anything out past July, but I was thinking, I'm getting tired. I was thinking of going to either South Africa or New Zealand, in that area. If I go to South Africa, though, I'd want to stay for a few months. Same if I go to Asia or anywhere. Anywhere I go, I want to stay for a few months. But we'll see. Good night, Andrew. Thank you. Okay, bye, guys. Bye, Clayton and Alex and Tech Lords, Andrew, Ahmed, Kay, my nickname, Razor, Rassi, Hugh, Jas, Ciao, Kata. Who else? Michael. And anyone else who's not in the chat but who's here. Bye. Have a good night, everyone. Happy Friday.